I see this kind of shit is what turns my blood pressure up. Like this dude in the chat, listen to me, dude, talking about they doing it legally. I ain't saying not to swing on me. I don't got a problem with you swinging on me. My problem is when I swing on you, then now we got the, wait a minute, you can't swing on him. No, I don't got a problem with you swinging on me. I don't got a problem with you punching me. But when I punch you back in your face, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear a word. And that's what this is about. This isn't about anything else. Nobody's saying that the brand of basketball that Oklahoma City plays is bad basketball. You want to play physical? We can play like that. In fact, that's what the great teams do. The great teams show you
all the great teams play physical. All of them.
Yeah. You want to play fast? We can play fast. You want to play slow? We can play slow. You want to play physical? We can play physical. No problem about that. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to rough me up and push me around. And when I push back, now I'm the problem. No. Hell no. That's not the way that works. And that's all we're saying. That's it.
OKC fans and their players got some goddamn nerve complaining about foul calls when they are assaulting people on one side of the court.
Do you see Chris Finch do that crash out?
Yeah. Coach Finch got tossed because of it. That was
crazy.
That was clearly a foul.
Yeah.
That was clearly a foul. That was clearly a foul from Ant. Ant should have been at the free throw line. That's number one. And then for Lou Dort to basically almost break Julius Randle's arm, he came across. And I mean, Coach Finch had enough. And I don't understand you as a lead official, how you can't see that. Now, don't get me wrong. When a guy is swiping down, okay, that's legit. Lou Dort clearly swiped down. That was a foul. Blow the whistle. Because that's how, real talk, that's how fights start, right? That's how we end up losing control of the game, and that's how you end up getting in fights. That wasn't a clean rip. Not only was it not a clean rip, that was a hard foul. And in today's game, that's how things end up. That's why things end up turning into what they turned into. 100%.
I love the fact that Chris Finch did that. I think that was strategic. Yes. I think he went into the game knowing, hey, as soon as they do one of these fouls that they don't call, right, which we see regularly when you play OKC, I'm crashing out. And I think it set the tone for the rest of the game because if you see, I think the Timberwolves shot like 40-something free throws that game.
47.
I guess. Exactly, because they actually blew the whistle every time. Majority of the time when OKC was out there playing like the Steel Curtain in Pittsburgh, right? So if you do that, you will get to the free throw line regularly against OKC. And I think coaches should do this more often when you're playing OKC. I've been saying this since last year. I know it has to be mentally taxing when you're playing OKC. And Lou Dort, linebacker Lou, is playing how he's playing. Caruso, free safety Caruso's playing how he's playing. Casey Wallace is playing how he's playing. And then you get to the other end and you bump Shea and he's at the free throw line. I know that's frustrating. I know it is.
Well, and by the way, this is not the first coach to say something. Remember JB Bickerstaff last year? He went on a whole rant about it. And I do think OKC fans are not going to acknowledge this because this doesn't mean you're not great. They're still the best team in the league, arguably. But the problem is that coaches have behind the scenes and now publicly are saying they are allowed to play with a level of defensive deference that not only we are not allowed to play, but they are the example. Chill. They have the most physical and best defense, and then their guard you don't get that same level of grace on the other end in defending him. So like you can't score against them consistently because of how much they foul. But then the best scorer they have on their team, you also can't defend with the same level of physicality. So it just puts you in this crazy conundrum where SGA is already so good that you have to try to find ways to stop him. And then the ways that they're stopping you can't use on him. So now he has these free runs at the basket. So I just think that's where the complication comes from. It's like SGA is so good. The defense is so good. Well, in order to stop SGA, we need to do what OKC does, but we are not allowed to do what OKC does. So therefore, you're losing by 20, 25 points. And I think that's why everything's boiling over at this point.
But Swiper, like, honestly, OKC sets the precedence, like, every time they step on the court. And they put the pressure on her. That's the thing is OKC puts the pressure on the refs on both ends. Shea puts immense pressure on the refs. I'm the MVP. I've averaged 30 for 3 straight years. I know how to foul bait. I know how to sell it. And on top of that, can't nobody guard me. He puts the pressure on the refs, and he doesn't just settle for jumpers. He's driving. He's getting downhill. He's shifting defenders. He's making those defenders actually have to play defense. He's constantly putting pressure on the refs. On the defensive end, it's the same thing. They are constantly putting pressure on the refs because they are pressing the most. Like, let's not act like OKC doesn't get fouls called on them. They get fouls, but then they turn around the next possession and act like that foul didn't matter. And they're forcing the refs to constantly have to call foul after foul after foul after foul. And it's just like at some point, I can't see everything and I can't call everything. Like, they're just ultra aggressive. And you can't, like, nobody can be mad at them for playing an ultra aggressive style of basketball. I can get the whistle thing, but they turn it up on you. They force the refs to have to blow their whistle, and a ref can't just blow his whistle every single possession, or he's not going to at least.
But he's got to call the obvious fouls.
But he can, exactly.
He's got to call the obvious fouls, Ron, because I can appreciate the logic where there's incidental contact, right? There's contact where that's just part of the game, no question about that. But when a guy in Lou Dort clearly in the middle of the lane, when Julius Randle comes down with the rebound and he's going back up with it, swipes down and hits him on the arm, which gets the ball, jars the ball loose, and it makes it look like it's a clean rip. It's not, especially when my star player who had just gotten fouled doesn't get a whistle. Now it's my job, which is Chris Finch. Now it's my job to protect my players, and I 100% will go after the refs. Phil Jackson used to do that all the time.
Yep.
Phil Jackson used to do that on the floor, and he used to do that in the press. He used to do that when during the playoffs. I vividly remember in 1993 when they're playing against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Phil Jackson says, quote, they played their style of ball on their floor. They're not going to play that style of ball on our home floor. That's a message to the referees that, yo, the way that they was playing, y'all let them play like that in their building. I'm not trying to hear y'all letting them play like that in our building.
It's not just OKC, because I want to also be clear about this. Minnesota versus Denver 2 years ago, the same thing happened when game 2 happened. They didn't have Rudy Gobert. They went wild. I'm talking about they were like rabid dogs in terms of how physical they were. And then the Nuggets dominated that game. They made a very, very clear complaint that, like, if you're going to allow for them to play this physical, then you need to allow us to do the same. The Nuggets went on to win the next 3 games, and game 6 happened, game 7. I'm saying that, like, teams do this all the time. Remember, Real Talk probably doesn't remember this, actually. 2020, the Lakers, when they played Denver, I want to say they were up 2-0. And then they made a formal complaint to the league in the bubble, and then publicly talked about the lack of calls that were being made for the Lakers. The next game, the Lakers got 36 free throws. So, like, this happens.
Our former complaint that
this happens all the time. Teams do this. They like you can't allow for them to get away with this physicality, and then they respond. So some of this is just like when you play versus certain teams, you don't. If you have such a clear advantage physically, it puts us in a disadvantageous situation. And so I think when you're playing the OKC, the Wolves, the Nuggets, the Detroit Pistons, they've all been very clear. If you're going to allow for them to play this way, you better allow for us to play this way. And I think that's what happened after Finch got thrown out, personally. That's just what it is. It's just
well, the reason why it's such a big deal, Swiper, to your point, is because a lot of Oklahoma City's production comes from their defense. And with it coming from their defense, with their ability to quote unquote play as rough as they play, well, if you're not going to slow that down, then you got to be able to let us play that way too, because we get buckets playing on defense too, turning our defense into offense, which is what Minnesota does. So if you're going to allow them to push, like for example, Anthony Edwards ends up getting a flagrant foul because I didn't think it was that big of a push, but I mean he did put his hand on SGA in transition. SGA ended up flying into the stanchion. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but it ended up being called a flagrant. So now SGA goes to the free throw line. He makes those 2 free throws, and they get the ball back. Meanwhile, on the other end, Lou Dort clearly pushes Shannon out of bounds, and it's just a foul. And it's not a flagrant one. And on top of that, a couple of trips before that, he's in the landing space of Jaden McDaniels, and they didn't say a word. They didn't say one word. So if you're going to allow these guys to play like this, it has to be consistent. Because what ends up happening is that you lose control of the game. And when you lose control of the game, you end up having stuff like coaches getting kicked out.
And for everybody in the chat that's like, y'all holding those defense, now y'all are complaining about the defense. I don't have a problem with how OKC guards. The problem is the consistency in how they call the game. At least for me, that is the only complaint that I've had against OKC, right? If you're going to allow OKC to play like that, just allow the other team to also play like that. That's really
real talk. You know how I feel. Let's do it. Let's do it for real. because you won't let bigs play that physical at all. Let centers and bigs start playing with that level of physicality and see what happens. Let me be able to start moving like.
But y'all, it can't be a let me type of thing though.
No.
They have to actually do it.
No.
See, and like it's
they are doing it, Ron.
Opponents with OKC, they're not. Nobody's defending like OKC. Like,
what are you talking about?
Nobody.
Indiana was also
picking
up people full court.
That's been one of the
Indiana was out there hacking.
No, but that's one of the biggest things that's adjusted. No, Ron, you got to let the point flow and land and then respond. Because I wasn't talking about defense. OKC gets away with pushing bigs out of the paint and also putting multiple hands on big. I'm saying if you allowed for big to control space the same way they're allowed to control space, then bigs would be even more dominant in this league. That's the whole point. Guards are allowed to get away with the level of physicality because they're smaller on the floor. I'm saying bigs are not allowed to do that. Because if bigs were allowed to take space like that, then all of a sudden the league is going to be back where it was in the 1990s, where now bigs are running through the sport. But I'm saying that's what the difference is now. I'm saying that, like, if they allow for other teams to be just as physical as OKC, I think the league would just look different as a whole. That's what I'm saying.
See, Swiper, I just disagree with that. I think OKC, one, they have the personnel to be physical. They've put together an ultra physical roster they're not just physical with their hands. They're also physical using their bodies and their chest and arm bars and stuff like that. But they also just have a level of speed that a lot of other teams don't have. So they have the personnel to deploy dogs that can pick you up 94 feet, that are aggressive, that can, are crazy athletic. But also it's a mentality thing. Like I said, the OKC isn't asking for no calls from the ref.
Do you think Zubac is soft?
Ron, you allowed as a big to push a guy up the lane, right? I got just as much. I got just as much right to this space as you do. What I can't do is I can't put my hands on your back and physically push you up the lane. You can't do that, and that's what Oklahoma City does
all the time,
right?
Why do they do it?
And that's Swiper's point.
Literally, if Zubac took his hand,
why do they do it?
What do you mean they're allowed?
Because they're allowed to do it, Ron. That's why. Because they're allowed.
Why do they do it?
Yes, they are allowed to do it.
What are you talking about? They're not allowed to do it. That's the whole point. They are allowed to do it. I'm saying if Zubac took his hand and took Caruso underneath this part right here and said, "Boom, get out the way," it's a foul. It's a foul.
Yo, I'm not debating whether they should be able to do it or not. What I'm saying is the fact that they come out and say, "I don't give a damn, I'm finna do this." They are more likely to get away with more of those. The more they do it, the more they're going to get away with it.
Okay, but then I'm saying that same grace isn't given to Biggs. Because if Biggs did that, so that's the problem. Biggs have 6 fouls. OKC's a team. The whole team does it. They might get 6 fouls doing it. The problem is Biggs, they don't have the same level of grace to be like, I'm going to literally take J-Dub, move him out of my way, and then now I'm going to establish position, and I'm going to get to the paint, and I'm going to finish over the top of you. I can't do it to Chet. I can't do it to Hart. I can't do it to Dub. I can't do it to Cruz. I can't do it to Kaysen. That's the problem. I'm saying that if Biggs could do that, the league, everything would be different. That's just what I'm saying. Everything. Remember, Ox was getting mad at Jokic because he felt like Jokic wasn't established position. I'm saying if Jokic was allowed to literally take his hand and physically move Caruso out of the way, then I'm saying then everything I think functionally would flow differently. I think if you watch the Clippers game the other day, Zubac, it was the same story with Zoo. They were taking Zoo, they were pushing him on his hips out of the paint. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, you just allowed to just like move him, and Zoo can't do that.
Which I don't. And Ron, I don't have a problem with that. Like
I'm bringing a fight to y'all every time y'all know
again,
this.
Ron.
Chill.
Have a problem with that.
I
don't.
For real. It's not just their mentality. They are playing a mental game with everybody.
And I'm good with that, Ron.
Before you step on the court with OKC, you are already thinking about it. Damn, I can't touch Shea. Damn, they're going to be ultra aggressive with me. They're going to be handsy with me. You're already scared before you play against them. And even the refs, too. The refs are like, damn.
Coach is going to keep getting thrown out of the game, then. That's what we're going to do.
Because, like, Cottrell in the track.
That's what Julius Randle had 16 free throws, and he should have had 20, 25.
Coaches better coach then. Coaches better coach.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about every game. Hey, real talk. Every game from now on in a series, I'm getting thrown out. I'm getting thrown out.
Don't play soft.
I said that last year. I said a coach. If I'm coaching against OKC in the playoffs, I'm coming to the podium every game. I have a problem, and I'm saying it very clearly that I have a problem with the refereeing. again, to me, this isn't nobody up here at least this is my interpretation of the conversation. Nobody up here has a problem with OKC playing how they're playing. They should play like that. That is their brand of basketball. It is what it is. However, what everybody up here is saying is that I can see how the opposing team can have a problem with how they're allowed to play and how we're allowed to play. So yes, Ron, in actuality, it's not an OKC problem. It's an officiating problem. That's the problem. If you feel like it's unfair on your end, then it is upon you to call that out and call that out loudly and clearly. And so hopefully it does.
That's what Ime Udoka did. Ime Udoka did the same thing this week.
It's more than that. It's more than that, though, real talk. To Ron's point, I don't have a problem with the basketball as a contact sport. And if they're going to allow us, and if they're going to allow Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and Cason Wallace, J-Dub to play that style of defense, Swiper, yes, Jokic has to react. And I'm not saying taking your hand and pushing somebody off you. I'm talking about right here. You don't do it with your hands. You do it with your elbows, your shoulders, and your hips. Hit him. Get him off you. Anytime somebody's hand is on you, that's boom. I'll take the foul. Whatever. That's the point. I get 6 of them. Every time you come, bow, you're getting hit. Anytime you put your face right here, bow, elbow, right to the jaw.
But that's the problem, though, Ron. That's the problem, though. I'm
not
allowed to do that.
No, I know you're not allowed to do that. I know you're not allowed to do that. But you're going to remember that, and you're going to back your ass up.
They're not going to stop doing it. They're not.
No, what I'm going to. No, chill. If Jokic puts that elbow to Alex Caruso's neck, chest area, he's going to back up. If every time one of them little dudes come and I make a strong pivot, and when I come this way, you get the shoulder to the face, you catch an elbow, you catch my hip bone to your midsection, you're gonna back your ass up. You got no choice. If I'm Jokic and I'm 6 foot, 270,
3,000 in the first half,
that doesn't swipe. But that's one basketball game. You're gonna remember every time that I'm bringing my physicality back to you. Swipe. I know you might think it's not, but basketball is a contact sport. It's not a collision sport like football, but you're supposed to get hit. And
I agree with you, but
I'm going to make sure, especially if I'm the bigger one, Swiper, I can't allow smaller dudes to bully me because I'm worried about the ref blowing the whistle. Blow that whistle. You're going to blow that whistle till you break it.
No, but I hear you though, brother. But what I'm saying is, if you got
to bring it back. But you have to bring the fight back. You have to bring the fight to this.
But Ox, the problem is if you're a player, Jokic, Giannis, for instance, and you're big or Wemby, you get 2 fouls in the first quarter doing what you're talking about. Now your team's at a disadvantage. And what I'm saying to you is, do it. The problem is, it's like if I'm out, we're way worse. So if I'm not in the game because I'm taking an issue with bringing the same level of physicality to your point, now my team is at a disadvantage. So I think that's where people are struggling with. It's like, okay, so if I do this, boom, get off me. Offensive foul. You won't do it again. And then now I get another random foul. You got 2 fouls, and you out of the game for the rest of the quarter.
I don't play.
There's 4 other players on the court, and it's a whole bench. Jokic might not need to do that.
And you know who I won't do it? Val needs to get out there and do it. I agree.
Ron. Jokic has to be too. Everybody. And Swiper, I understand what you're saying. Your team will be at a disadvantage, but your team's already at a disadvantage when you're letting these hyenas attack you.
That is just true.
You're already at a disadvantage.
Which goes back
to you have to bring the fight back to them. OKC is looking at it the way Swiper's looking at it.
But I'm saying
they're not going to hit us back because they're scared. OKC's not scared.
But then but on the other end though, how do you feel about the other side that we brought up though, that when you're guarding SGA, you don't even get the same realm of possibility in playing that kind of defense.
But hold on, let's
they need to hit his ass harder too. They need to hit his ass harder too. If he gonna keep doing that punk ass falling, hit his ass harder too.
I just want to stick to the.
He come
point.
through.
Yeah.
I think again, it is on the team. So if I'm Denver, I am doing what Ox is talking about. If I'm Jokic, I'm doing what Ox is talking about. I am meeting force with force,
bigger force,
right? And if they call it. In game 1, if they call it like that, if they give Jokic two calls, I also want Jokic to voice to the ref during the game, hey, if you're going to allow them to be physical with me, I have a right to my space as well. And if you're going to allow them to play forceful with me, I should be able to respond in force. Again, let OKC play how they playing. Cool. But when I respond with that same level of physicality, don't let it be a foul on me. And you know what has to happen after the game? And matter of fact, before and after the game, Swipe, y'all's coach, Adelman, isn't that his name, Adelman?
Yeah.
Adelman should come out, go to the press conference and say, hey, you know what? We know OKC plays a physical brand of basketball, and that's cool. Like, we can't change.
Y'all want to have a free throw party for the series? Let's do it.
That's fine. However, all I'm asking for is to allow my players to match force with force. Say that publicly, clearly, over and over again. So if we are playing a physical brand of basketball, it's just going to be physical on both ends, and it's not going to be one way. That's all I'm saying. I think, like Chilltown pointed out earlier, Phil Jackson was fantastic at this. Phil Jackson, if he felt like his players were getting fouled and they weren't being called, he was going to come out to the press conference and say that clearly and take the fine. It is what it is. Hey, if they're just going to let the team maul my players like that, then, hey, I guess it is what it is. We need to be getting more calls. We need to be at the free throw line more. And guess what? Next game, Swipe, what used to happen? Kobe shoot 18 free throws. Mike shoot 20 free throws. So you got to
26 free throws for Kobe in Game 7.
Real talk. You know what that sounds like? Real talk. That sounds like good parenting. Yep. Good parenting. You know when you tell your kids, because you know what they be like at school. If you get hit, you're supposed to go tell the teacher. Don't hit nobody. You out your goddamn mind. Somebody hit you. You lay that ass out. And you know what? You could be in trouble at school. You ain't gonna be in trouble at home. We the real authorities. I don't give a damn what the ref call. Call the ref. You gonna do something? You better stop. You better stop letting that kid pick on my kid.
Exactly.
He gonna light his
Ron,
ass.
did
up.
you get that talk?
Come through with that elbow.
It's twofold to that. You tell your kid, don't let nobody put no hands on you, because if they do, it's up. And hey, we gonna be chilling at the house for your suspension. We gonna enjoy this. Also, too, though, you go and you confront the principal. You go and you confront the teacher. You go and tell them, like, yo, don't nobody, hey, anytime this happens, I'm gonna be right here in your office and you gonna hear about it. And no,
and if it keep happening,
I didn't get those talks
either. We holler at his parents. So, coach, you got a problem? I'm gonna come holler at you. That's if y'all started
at
this
8 years old.
So OKC started this. So that's the point. To your point, Swiper, to your point, Chill. Now the refs can see. Okay, we have to get control of Lou Dort. We have to get control of Alex Caruso. We have to get control of Casey Wallace. These dudes can't do that, or else everybody. It's just we taking it back to the 80s, and we in the league don't want that, right? So y'all, if they can do it, we can do it. And once they calm it down, we can go back to playing basketball. But Lou Dort is out there running into people like they're not. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. And then on top of that, obviously, I don't believe in like dirty play. I don't think you should play dirty.
There's a difference between being physical and being dirty. Those two things ain't the same.
Right. Real talk. But to your point, if every time SJ, if he have the ball and he's doing all that pushing off and flopping, hit his ass. You gonna blow your whistle? You better blow. You better blow for a reason.
Hey man, if you gonna fall, make it fall. Like it's gonna be because you really got that. That push from Ant. Now it was a foul on Ant, but I commented on it and said I know that all that soft in Canada. By the way, when Murray ain't soft like that, dude. Real talk. He got pushed. It was a push. But
and then that
video pissed me off so bad, bro. I was so mad when I
see this kind of shit is what turns my blood pressure up. Like this dude in the chat, listen to me, dude, talking about they doing it legally. I ain't saying not to swing on me. I don't got a problem with you swinging on me. My problem is when I swing on you, then now we got wait a minute, you can't swing on him. No. I don't got a problem with you swinging on me. I don't got a problem with you punching me. But when I punch you back in your face, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear a word. And that's what this is about. This isn't about anything else. Nobody's saying that the brand of basketball that Oklahoma City plays is bad basketball. You want to play physical? We can play like that. In fact, that's what the great teams do. The great teams show you
all the great teams play physical. All of them.
Yeah. You want to play fast? We can play fast. You want to play slow? We can play slow. You want to play physical? We can play physical. No problem about that. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to rough me up and push me around. And when I push back, now I'm the problem. No. Hell no. That's not the way that works. And that's all we're saying. That's it. Stop talking about us up here crying.
Ime Udoka
Ain't nobody up here crying.
It's
right,
the
y'all.
Thunder are physical, the Nuggets are physical, the Rockets are physical, the Knicks are physical. It's crap. All these teams is physical. It's just
Spurs are
like
pretty
let's
physical.
all if we all gonna get in the cage fight, let's play by the same rules. That's literally everybody is saying. If we gonna be in the MMA bout, then if you can't scratch my eye, you can't hit me below the belt. I'll make sure not to do that. I'm gonna punch your lights out in every other way, just like Anthony Joshua did that man on TV on Friday night. Like I told you he was gonna do it.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. With a check throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops all hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.